So, Senator Jon Ossoff shuts down Donald Trump with an epic takedown so powerful it needs to be seen to be believed. Well, he's been making some serious noise lately. He's basically been laying out this whole case against Donald Trump, just dismantling the entire corrupt operation. Um, it's really something to see. He's been exposing the lies, the the cowardice, the cheap con man thing he does, profiting off the presidency. You really have to see how he's breaking it all down. But hey, before we get into it, if you think we should be holding these guys accountable, really fighting for, well, for the soul of the nation, I guess please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button right now. It really does help fight the algorithm and get, pro democracy stuff out to more people. Thanks. Um okay. So, let's just start with the most shameless pay to play stuff. The kind of thing that's just wow. Ossoff's been talking about this Chinese billionaire, right? A guy named Justin Sun. And this guy, he was apparently under investigation by our own government for fraud. Then, out of nowhere, this same guy starts pouring, what was it, tens of millions of dollars into Trump's his failing crypto business, his little meme coin grift. And then what a surprise, after he becomes the number one holder of the Trump coin, his federal case just sort of evaporates, just vanishes, doesn't it? I mean, it's such a sleazy deal. It's exactly what you'd expect from a guy who's been a con man his whole life, who just sees the presidency as another brand to milk. It seems like this kind of quid pro quo is just business as usual now. Here's what Ossoff said about it.
To the point where he says he's become the number one holder in the world of the Trump coin. Are you surprised to hear his federal case has gone away? And then a few weeks ago, he's having dinner with the president. Because if you give the president cash, you get to have dinner with him. That's a thing we're doing in America now. The president's personal wealth.
And of course, the whole family is in on it, aren't they? The whole family is cashing in. You've got Jared Kushner, the son-in-law, getting a cool $2 billion from the Saudi royal family for who even knows what. Meanwhile, Don Jr. and Eric are just jet-setting around the globe, closing deals like a couple of vultures. They don't even try to hide it. They almost seem proud of being the most corrupt family to ever set foot in the White House. I mean, Eric Trump basically bragged that the presidency was just a golden ticket for them to get richer. He said something like,
boys are all over the world closing deals right before he touches down on state visits. Eric said the other day, he said, we're the hottest brand in the world right now. It's amazing the opportunities that open up when your daddy's the president and the whole world thinks he takes bribes. But the truth is that corruption in America runs a lot deeper than...
Think about what that really means. It shows you the rotten core of how they see the world. Public service is for suckers, The only thing that matters is how much money you can make for yourself. And that same greedy, narcissistic view of the world, that's why they have no problem hurting the most vulnerable people in this country to get what they want. Just think about what these Republicans in Congress did to Medicaid. The program that's a lifeline for so many people in Georgia and all over America, they're gutting it. For what? For 40% of all kids in Georgia, for 50% of all births, for 70% of all seniors in nursing homes. That's who relies on this. And this betrayal, disgusting. It's even more disgusting when you remember that Donald Trump, the pathological liar, he looked straight into the cameras. He gave his word to the American people that Medicaid was safe, that he wouldn't mess with it. And he said it so directly. It was a direct quote, a total lie that he knew he was telling. Ossoff completely called him out on it, reminding everyone of that promise Trump had no intention of keeping.
There are now 37 Georgia nursing homes at risk of closure because of this law, and 7 of them are less than 2 hours from where we are right now. Do you all remember what Donald Trump said about Medicaid? He said, "We're not going to touch it. We're not going to touch it." Direct quote. It's like Senator Tillis said, a broken promise, and one of many. President Trump promised to end the wars. He promised to release the Epstein files.
My God, the list of broken promises, it's a mile long, isn't it? He promised to end the wars. He promised to fix the economy. He even promised to release the Jeffrey Epstein files. I mean, seriously? Did anyone with a single working brain cell actually think the guy who used to party with Epstein was going to be the one to expose him? The thought is just so, it's insane. It would be funny if it wasn't so deeply, deeply corrupt and disturbing. And you know who admits it? You know who admits they've been a total failure? One of their own, one of their biggest cheerleaders, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She confessed that after 6 months, with all this power, they've gotten absolutely nothing done. Well, okay, except for their one big achievement, which was, blowing up Medicaid to give more tax cuts to their rich buddies. And while they were at it, they added, what was it? A staggering $4 trillion, that's trillion, to the national debt that our kids are going to have to pay for. So I never want to hear another word from these Republican characters about deficits or being fiscally responsible, ever. These guys in the so-called Freedom Caucus, their whole act, their whole fake identity is built on cutting spending, isn't it? But the moment their cult leader threatens them, they fold. They throw out every principle they ever pretended to have. Ossoff just perfectly described these guys and their complete lack of a spine. He said they talk a big game about cutting deficits
to the national debt. I don't want to hear another Republican member of Congress ever again pretend to care about deficits and debt. These cowards and hypocrites in the Freedom Caucus, they make their entire fake persona about cutting deficits. And then they get threatened with a primary and they fold for a Big Mac on Air Force One. So now, our kids and our kids' kids and their grandkids have $4 trillion more debt to pay down. And it's not even like it's for a good cause. It's so someone worth $50 million can buy another vacation home to visit once a year.
That image says everything about their cruel priorities, doesn't it? Our government can't help a family with a $3,000 ambulance bill, but it'll fall all over itself to give some $50 million man another tax break for a vacation home he probably doesn't even use. And, this stuff is happening to real people. Like in places like Thomasville, Georgia, the town was supposed to get federal money for a new health clinic and to fix their ancient sewers, basic things, stuff a community needs. But the Trump administration, with its unhinged logic, they canceled the grant. And the reasons were they were the most ridiculous things you can imagine. They apparently killed it because the project had the word justice in the title and because it included electric lawnmowers. Electric lawnmowers are woke now, I guess. It's beyond parody. These people are so fragile that battery-powered lawnmowers threaten them somehow. These are the same characters who spent years screaming about cancel culture, and now they're literally trying to cancel Big Bird and start a war with Elmo. This whole MAGA spectacle, it's just filled with the biggest hypocrites on the planet. Like that guy J.D. Vance. He flies off to Europe to give these big important speeches about free speech. But then back home, he basically wants to throw anyone who writes an article he doesn't like into a Homeland Security dungeon. And this behavior, it's a direct warning. It's a warning about what's happening to our country, and it's something Jon Ossoff has seen up close. He talks about the deliberate use of government power to scare and destroy anyone who gets out of line, from law firms to universities. And he would know, I mean, before he was a senator, he was leading teams exposing corruption in war-torn countries, in places with tyrants. He warned that when you see federal police wearing masks to hide who they are, that is a very, very bad sign for a democracy. He saw it firsthand. He saw how fear is the weapon that every power-hungry figure uses to control people and to shut up anyone who disagrees with them. Ossoff put it so bluntly, and it's a message that I think everyone in America really needs to hear right now.
Prosecution. And Savannah, when the federal police are wearing masks, that's a real bad sign. That's a real bad sign. Because fear is the currency of tyranny. And I've heard it from people at every level, including people with power, people with status, people with resources. They come to my office and they tell me they're afraid to say anything. They're afraid of retribution, investigation, destruction, vengeance from their own government. Donald Trump wants the whole country to fear.
And that is exactly what Donald Trump wants. He wants the whole country to be scared of him. He does it by attacking the press, by trying to get contractors to spy on our data, and by working constantly to undermine our elections. We can't ever forget that this guy already tried to overthrow the American government one time. The day after Georgia sent Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock to the Senate, his violent mob stormed the Capitol building to try to steal the power that the voters had taken from him. But while those MAGA followers were trying to burn down our democracy, Democrats were actually working for the people of Georgia. They capped the price of insulin for seniors. They confirmed Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court, and they kicked off this huge manufacturing boom across the state. And meanwhile, what were Republicans doing with their power? They were making the budget for mass deportations bigger than the FBI, the ATF, the DEA, and the Bureau of Prisons, all of them combined, creating the largest domestic police force in the history of America. And they're using that force to do things that are just breathtakingly cruel. You hear these stories, snatching people who have no criminal record, just tearing families apart, sending 2 little American girls with cancer to Mexico and Honduras, beating a father of 3 United States Marines in the middle of the day. This is what happens. This is the end result of the deep, deep corruption that lets a con man like Trump grab power in the first place. The fight against him, it's a fight against the greed and the rot that's been infecting our system for decades. It's a fight for the very soul of our nation. Let me know in the comments, what do you think is the single most corrupt thing the Trump family has done? And please don't forget to like the video, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss what we're doing here. We have to keep fighting for our democracy together. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.